So what I'm doing over here is I'm starting the corner frames. There's going to be 6 corners that I can make frames for ahead of time. It's just going to be top and bottom with the 4-foot spaced vertical studs in between. These are all just being used at their from the factory length, which may or may not come back to bite me later, but they're not exactly 8 feet, they're a little longer, which should be fine. And then here I've got some of the frames already started. Definitely a 2-person job to move these because the screws don't hold everything together. So that everything is being screwed in place so that I can take it apart, and depending on how it's being moved, might be able to keep these sections in pieces and sections to move around. So when you're framing these up, the way I'm doing it anyway, I set them on sawhorses so I don't have to work on the ground. That seems to be working pretty well. I have these 3D printed squares that I made. I wanted to try because I've had them for a long time, and this would be the first project with them. But I clamped them all up, and it just wasn't worthwhile. It doesn't hold well enough, and it's just not necessary. So what I'm doing is using one square, getting started, taking measurements, and going from there. Just once the screws are in, everything's fine. One other tip is when you're measuring your centers, always start from the same end for both beams so that they line up. Otherwise you're going to end up with this thing crooked by 1/2 inch or more depending on the boards. But everything seems to be going together well. Got 4 of the 6 of this frame done. I got some others that I can pre-assemble, and then hopefully before the end of the day I have a frame around this thing. One other tip, if you're working with treated lumber, wear gloves. Alright, quick little tip here as I'm going. So I've got the 6 corner frames made. The middle 2 frames, same thing, no cuts, just the lumber as it comes. I'm going to take a gamble that I'll be able to get the open pieces that are down here. I don't know if I can show you, but they're just open, see? And so these are going to slide in to this space here. So these screws are going to go in like that. I just set one up here to help me line it up when I drill the other ones in. These self-tapping screws do everything. They do all the work themselves, so I don't have to worry about pre-drilling, anything like that. It's really easy. So got 2 of those. Then when my kids get back, we're going to try and get this assembled. All right, got the 2 center frames and the 6 corner frames done here. You can see what they look like all complete. You can see I measured from both ends for these middle ones, and that's how far off of 8 feet they are. That's 3/4 of an inch maybe. So centered the studs and see how it does. These will all end up with some other supports inside of them for cross bracing, and I'll put some wiggle wire in here eventually, but just to get started, this is where we're at. These should assemble and get put in place pretty easily with some helpers. I do not think I could do it by myself, but I'm also old and feeble. One other note is all these pre-made frames are going to go here. There's going to be a corner, let's see, it goes right from here this way, and a corner that goes this way. That's going to leave a gap here from this corner over to there, and I'm not going to try and figure that out ahead of time. I'm going to wait and get the corners, everything else in place, and then I will measure it, because I can just use the pieces that are there after I assemble this corner. Put the little frame together real quick and throw that in place. Made some decent progress tonight. Again, big thanks to the kids. Let's look at it. Got 3 of the 4 corners framed. Got bracing put in place. I left some other temporary bracing in place. I think tomorrow I'm actually going to put the shade cloth on it, even though I will have to remove it to put the roof up. It is taller than I realized. I mean, this is exactly what I measured and planned for, but man, seeing it, that's going to be a pain getting up there to do the roof. But I'm excited. It's going to be fantastic for shade, but it's really going to make an awesome tall greenhouse. finished up this part of the framing myself. I learned a lot doing it with my son. So I got this last piece of framing here and this in place myself. I got this one up here in place. There is a little bit of a bend. I'm not sure how much it comes across in video, but this part right here is a little too high, but that's okay. I'm gonna adjust it. I'll make sure the door is all level and plumb, and all that'll be fine. You can also see where I didn't plan the bottom, the base correctly. I forgot that I was not going to have pieces of wood all the way across the front, and so there and right there I have some gaps. No big deal. I do think I'm going to put plans for this online. As I've been going through and making myself notes and thinking through things, I'm halfway there already. So if anybody is interested in that, let me know, and I'll figure out how to sell these. Check the description for affiliate links for a lot of the hardware and stuff like that. You don't have to buy it from Amazon, but you can definitely just see what I purchased there, or what I purchased, and have those for reference for things like the fasteners, where I have these big fasteners that are driving through the 2 layers of 2x4s and down into the railroad ties. So check those out. I'm gonna call this the end of part 1, and then figure out how I'm gonna get the roof up on top of this thing. I think I'm gonna need to borrow another ladder. Thanks for watching.